Did you ever go to work with Grandpa?
Well, yeah, we all went to work with Grandpa, with Dad.
We did?
And he asked...
I sort of remember an office. No, I do. I sort of remember going into some building.
But it was
and
high security.
It was high
Yeah.
security,
There
but
was
he
no-
would
there-
come down and meet us. And
And then, but we'd go into an office, didn't we?
we went in the office, but we never really went in to work with him. But he'd always come down and meet us. And
Because Dad was a spy.
I don't think so. Everybody else in the family
He
thinks
was so definitely a spy.
My name is Jacob Sterling. I was born in Syracuse, New York, February 10, 1911. We have a good university there, Syracuse University. And Syracuse is pretty well known in academic circles. It's a good school. And I went to school there. I graduated from there. And then as time went on, the war came along. I was inducted into the service. Being a college graduate, I was put into what is intelligence. So I was sent to Washington, D.C., and I was sent to the Washington National Airport. I was told to report to a fellow by the name of Captain Bernard Green, who was in charge of security and intelligence of Washington National Airport. He was number one, and I was the number two man. I was under him. Practically every leader of the world used to come to Washington, D.C. to have conferences with the President of the United States and with the people in the White House. One day, General de Gaulle, the head of the government of France, came in after he'd come in about 4 or 5 times, and he saw me, and he walks over to me, which I was very proud of, and he says, "Capitan, it is so nice to see you again." He sticks out his hand and shakes hands with me. Well, I did shake hands. It's surprising that the bigger the person was, the nicer he seemed to be to get along with. So anyway, during all that time, I had met your grandmother, and I was courting her.
My name is Helen Serling. Well, I was Chefman, right? My name was, what do I do? Go back?
We had an officers' club was stationed in Washington, D.C. at the National Airport.
They were having parties there like every night.
It was close to New Year's Eve,
The first day we had was New Year's Eve.
and so Colonel Collins wanted to invite Harry Truman, who was the Vice President of the United States. Harry Truman said, sure, he'd come.
Right, Truman used to come out, that was when he was vice president.
So Harry Truman used to be a pretty good piano player. And he played the piano, then he played the piano for us.
He was the vice president, but nobody was that impressed, I don't think, at the time.
The Vice President of the United States.
I don't even think I made the connection at that time.
So anyway, we got married, and we got married at Walter Reed Hospital.
The first time we met was New Year's Eve. We were married February 18th. Fast. We were married.
And then as time went on, we had 3 beautiful daughters, and meanwhile, I got a job with the Agency for International Development.
AID.
Which is supposed to-
Which people now, if you tell them that, they go, oh, your dad was a spy.
That was the office in the United States government that gave foreign aid and assistance to countries that had to have money to rebuild their countries after the war.
And I believe that always, but everyone else in the entire extended family is convinced he was a spy.
But he seems like the last person
Which
in the
is why
whole
he is.
world who could be a
And
spy.
he would never, ever tell.
No.
I mean,
That's what I've heard
Except
too.
I met 2 people that worked with him, Regan Ramsey being one of them, that said he was a spy.
Well,
I was a special agent in investigations of any irregularities were going on in these foreign countries. As a result, we had offices all over the world.
Yeah, he was always out of the country. I was always meeting him at National Airport.
he'd be back for months and then leave
Well,
for
a few
months.
months, but he'd be gone sometimes. I thought 9 months at a time. And when he was in Vietnam, how old was I? I don't remember, but I was young. And I remember hearing, I had the radio on by my bed, and I remember hearing soldiers were killed in Vietnam, but I didn't really know what he was doing there. And so I was terrified that he was going to get killed, and I'd go into his closet and I'd grab his shirts and his shoes and I'd bring him. Dad, I don't think Dad even knows this.
I knew that. You always
And
had
I'd bring
shirts
him
and-
into my room and into my bed, and I would just hold on to them, just hoping that he was okay.
I used to go to Korea, Vietnam, Taiwan, Cambodia, Laos, all over South America.
When he was abroad, and I remember when I was in elementary school, when he was abroad, every single day he wrote a letter.
Every day I got a letter.
And I remember writing back, and I would
Right,
put in
good
a
job.
stick of gum.
You put in the gun.
I thought this poor man just may not have chewing gum.
And he'd say, Daddy, do you like gum? I like gum.
So he wrote Grandma and each of us
Every day.
single day that he was
And then he
gone.
sent audio
4
tapes.
different letters.
He was always coming from someplace, and I was always down at the airport meeting the planes.
He'd get in the car, and we hadn't seen him for months, and I thought, oh, this is so comfortable. It's just like, it doesn't matter if we don't see him for months. It's just exactly the same. It just felt so secure.
29 years with the U.S. government. In 29, then I got credit for my military service, 4 years. So I got credit for 33 years of service with the United States government, and I retired.
He's a pretty great guy, isn't he?
Needless to say, he was very positive, and I don't know if we appreciated growing up. I don't have a negative memory.
Being married, 61 years, I wouldn't trade 1 hour of that.
So all in all, I had a very enjoyable life. I'm most proud of my family. It'll be 61 years. We have 3 daughters, and I have a gorgeous wife. I have 11 grandchildren, and one of them right here is now making this movie. So, all in all, I'm very happy with my family and with everybody I've met, and thank goodness for God being so good to me. And thank you very, very, very much.
All the money that e'er I had, I spent it in good company, and all the harm I've ever done, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be to you all. They're sorry for my going away, and all the sweethearts that e'er I had, they'd wish me one more day to stay. Since it fell into my lot that I should rise and you should not, I gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. So fill to me the parting glass, and drink a health whate'er befalls, then